Good afternoon. So this morning I volunteered at the Buffalo Marathon. So last year I ran it. This year I just volunteered for it because it's not on my schedule to run a half marathon yet this early in the year. So I volunteered at the 8 Mile water station. So we had gotten there at 6 o'clock in the morning and we had to put out all these cups of Gatorade, like all the empty cups, line them all up. And we had to make the Gatorade and then pour all these cups. And then once the race started, you stand at the line, like on the street where they're running. You just hold out your hand with the cup on it and hopefully you don't drop it. And they run by and they grab the cup, and that's what we do. So I did that. Oh, and I had the sweeping job too. So I had to very carefully to not trip any of the runners, like sweep up the cups, because if you're not a runner in a race, or if you've never run a race before, when people drink their water, they like drink it and then just chuck it somewhere, pretty much wherever they are on the street. So I was the sweeping girl for a while. Anyways, so the cool part about it wasn't even handing out the water. I mean, I know that's great, and these runners running half and full marathons need water and Gatorade and whatever. But they have their bib numbers on, and the really cool thing that I don't even remember having this last year, although it probably was on my bib last year, but it has your first name on it. So the really cool thing about that is when you're, encouraging these people and cheering them on, like you can call them by their first name. So it becomes a little bit more personal. So for me, that was really cool to be able to do that. So that was my volunteering experience. So I really enjoyed that. So if I don't ever run the Buffalo Half Marathon again, I will volunteer at the race. After the race, I had gotten home and a friend of mine had posted a video at the finish line. She was there to record her best friend, finishing the race. It was her first marathon, so my friend was there to tape it. And I watched it, and I watched her cross the finish line, and I listened to my friend, cheering her on, and I got really, really emotional. So last year when I ran, I was there by myself. There was no one there during the race cheering me on. There was nobody, at least, no one that I knew, or, no one that was, a big part of my life. So I crossed the finish line last year and nobody was there. It was just me, and I cried a little bit because, you work really hard. All these runners, they work really hard and they train. And, most of them set goals, and some of them it's just a goal just to do this race. And then you get to the finish line and, part of me cried because I set this goal. I beat my goal. Proud of myself. So I cried because I was happy. But then I also cried because there was no one there for me to share that with. So for me to watch this video of my friend recording her friend finishing, it made me sad for a second for myself. And then that wasn't even really it. It was the fact that now her friend has this video of her finishing, and that my friend was there to watch her and encourage her and be there at the end of the race to be like it's really simple. Just the words like, good job, or you did it, or I'm proud of you, or, just something that even though you're proud of yourself for finishing, to hear it from someone else just kind of takes it to, this next level. And it's huge. Now I only speak for myself on this, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. So to be able to volunteer today, and I'm sure there were people there that didn't have anyone there cheering them on. So for me to be able to do that for someone else, even though it was, the middle of the race for some of them, it's not an easy race. And again, for me personally, the 8 to 9 mile mark was the point where it became a mental thing, and it was really hard to keep going because you wanted to quit. So I feel like that's a really good spot for me to be as a volunteer, because I could encourage people at a point where they're probably struggling to get through also. So if you ever have the opportunity to be a spectator at a race or an event, or to go and support a friend when they're running or whatever, I encourage you to do it, because it means so much, I'm sure. Again, I'm only speaking for myself, but pretty sure I'm not the only one. Like, it means so much to have someone there encouraging you and cheering you on. So volunteer or run, because it's a whole other experience running, but go out and volunteer, or go out and support a friend on their race.